Hi everyone, welcome to another Tea With Me Tuesday. I'm Grey Power 60. I don't say that too often anymore. But welcome to my channel, and grab yourself a beverage or relax, take a few minutes, and we'll chat. And I'm going to have some of my tea. Couple of things. I'm sorry, my microphone. A couple of things I wanted to talk about, but I decided to narrow it down because I tend to babble on forever. I'm in my room here. I lit my candles. It smells nice in here. I closed my window so there's no buses or cars going by. I turned off my fan, although, believe me, it's hot. I think a lot of us have had this heat wave going on. I do not do well in heat. I just do not do well in heat. So, we'll try and get through this. It's hot in here. I was going to do it out in my balcony and I changed my mind. So, I guess because it gets kind of noisy with the traffic going by. So today, we didn't go out. I washed my hair. It's Saturday, even though I'm pre-taping this. Saturday, my girlfriend, one of my girlfriends that I have known for about 65 years, is she lives out of town. She's coming to visit. She has some sort of memorial thing to go to, and she doesn't come to town very often, but when she does and when she can, we get together, and it's not very often. We stay in touch on Facebook and so on, and we know what's going on in each other's lives, but to sit down and chat, I'm hoping we'll be able to do that. I don't know. She said she's going to try and arrange it, and of course I have Mom, so it's hard sometimes to get together, so we're going to cross our fingers here. Anyway, this would have been in the past for you. So I was looking on my computer today. I had my hair up in curlers, and Mom was watching TV, and I was looking on the computer. Nothing in particular. I kept looking at my craft stuff. I finally got rid of some extra baskets and containers and things that I had, and I put it in a big black plastic bag, and I have to get rid of that on Monday. I think Monday I'll do that, so it would have been in the past. Kind of hard when I do this ahead of time. Anyway, so I was looking at, something caught my eye, something to do with getting rid of stuff, purging and decluttering and so on. And it was by the Minimal Mom. Now, I don't want to be a minimalist, but she was talking rather, it's not right to say normally. I don't mean normally, but I know that a lot of these either minimalists or decluttering advice videos talk about, kind of the, quote, standard how-tos, I guess. But the way she tackled this particular room, she talked about it. She said, even though we're a minimalist, or, we kind of try and minimize their home, she was talking about this one room that kind of gets like the clutter of stuff, which is basically what my room was doing. And she was talking about how she tackles it and how she thinks about things, and it kind of, some of it resonated with me and made me feel better, not worse, which some of them make me feel worse about my being overwhelmed by my craft stuff. Anyway, and then she was talking, then another video she was talking, her and her husband were talking about changing things in their, I only watched part of it, they were changing something up in their channel, and happened to mention that her and her sister get together, and then there was this little, that little eye ticket that goes up on the screen and talked about Swedish death cleaning. And I clicked on it because I was curious about that. I know the process, I've heard of it before, but I didn't know it had a name. So anyway, I wrote down, a few things here that I kind of wanted to, sorry, I don't want to hit that microphone, to talk about that, because I had, even though it has a name, and I believe the Swedish call it dustadning. 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 The do part meaning death, and the standing or whatever meaning cleaning. So it's kind of death cleaning. Basically what it is as we get older, we should get rid of stuff so that when we die, our children or relatives or whoever comes in to sort through our junk won't be embarrassed by maybe something they find. Maybe there's kind of toys that you may use or have used and never forgot about, or letters you wrote, things which I have. Things like that. You don't want to burden your children, or you don't want to burden whoever it is. Now, some people don't care. Some people say, too bad, when I'm gone, you worry about it, I'm gone. They don't think about it. But for the Scandinavian people, or the Swedish people, anyway, they have that name, but they're very smart because they think of this process, and they sort of suggest it at around the age 65. And what you do is you get rid of things that you don't use anymore. Like china cabinets worth of things, knickknacks and things that you want to get rid of and not burden your children with, or whoever is going to be cleaning up. And that's kind of the thing that I had been thinking about all my life, because I was a single mom, and then I lived alone. I lived alone for 40 years. I mean, I lived alone for a long time. I wasn't lonely. Don't get the wrong idea here. I loved it. I loved living alone. I loved the freedom. I loved the fact that I could go out at 2 in the morning if I wanted to, or have a shower, or do my laundry at 2 in the morning, or if I wanted to, sleep all day or do whatever, which I've spoken about this before. But anyway, so, let's forget about that. But in the back of my mind, I've always thought that should anything happen to me, I don't want my children to find things that may make them feel guilty that their mother was not happy, which I was. I was happy. But as I told you before, I used to write a lot. I used to write in journals every day. I used to write stories. I used to do all kinds of things like that. I used to do a lot of reading. I never watched TV. I think I maybe watch an hour or two of TV a week, maybe. I always had classical music on. I had my desk. I did my writing. I used to sometimes have a little plate with some cheese and crackers and fruit and a glass of wine. I used to drink wine in those days. Been many, many years since I've had a glass of wine. But I used to like that, and I would write. And it didn't matter whether it was nonsense, whimsical, whatever. Something popped in my head. I used to love to write. Anyway, I also used to write in specific journals to take all of that weight off of my shoulders or out of my head of whatever I was upset about, whether it be something happened at work, an argument with my children, an argument with a boyfriend, things that I may have felt and just wanted to kind of, from here into the pen, onto the paper, done. It's gone. And that was my therapy, and it felt really, really good doing that. And I have, I think, talked about this before in other videos. Anyway, so getting back to the sort of the Swedish death cleaning, I've always felt that I need to clean out things that I don't want my children to worry about should anything happen to me. And for me, personally, I used to be so organized. I had a box, a special black box that's sitting over there, so I'm all looking over there, that had everything to do with my car, my insurance, my pensions, my taxes, anything that was of importance, baptismal papers, not adoption, birth certificates, and et cetera, et cetera. Anything that was important was in that box, and I used to keep it so well. Well, I have this trunk, and you've seen that it used to be under the window until I brought the desk in here. This trunk is full of stuff, and it could be old bills, it could be not letters I've written, but stories I've written, my journals that have maybe things in there I don't want my children to think I had a horrible life. It was my way of cleaning out that clutter, that horrible feeling. I don't want them to see that. So, for me, even though there's kind of a list of things that you're supposed, kind of like the Marie Kondo thing. There's certain things that you tackle. Then you touch it and you feel it, and do you want to keep it and all that crap. And then there's also, and then this other way, if you have never used it, it's of no use to you, it's of no sentimental value to you. It's suggested get rid of big things first. Like if there's furniture that you have stored away or sitting somewhere that you never use and don't want, get rid of it. Just you don't want it anyway, just get rid of it. You're not using it, get rid of it. That kind of thing. So it kind of talks to you, are you using it? Is there anyone in your family that you might want to gift things to? And it goes on and on and on and on. So, and if you want to do your own research on it, Google it, it's interesting. But for me, what I wanted to talk about is my papers. I used to have a filing cabinet. I had everything, just like when I was at work. I had everything kind of filed, everything named. I'd have things by month, by year, blah, 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 blah. I used to have a daily planner that a lot of you do, and I had planners, and I used them all the time. My brain couldn't hold everything that I had to do with work, with life, with family, with things, was all in my planners. And I think I even have old planners in this trunk. So for me, of all the things that I need to, because I have done a lot of decluttering, because I've done a lot of cleaning and repurposing and doing, my big problem is to tackle my paperwork. The first thing, even before my craft stuff, although I'm thinking now, instead of going through everything in my craft, I think I'm just going to put them in big garbage bags. I won't see it, tie it up, and donate it. Just get rid of it. I was going to, go through each box, see what I wanted to keep. You know what? If I haven't used it, if I haven't looked for it, what's the point? It's collecting clutter. It looks like hell in my living room. I want it to be clean. I had all kinds of things for doing beads or jewelry or whatever thing. I've never used it. I'm going to pack those up. There's going to be kids at the Boys and Girls Club that are going to love to do some beading. Well, I don't do that. I don't know why I even got all that stuff. So there's all that kind of stuff that's in there that I thought I might want to try. And really, no, I haven't. I've always loved creating paper things. I wasn't really into cards too much. That was okay. So for me, one kind of day at a time, I'll take a box. I may look at it, may not. I may just dump it in a black bag. But I'm not going to stress about it, but I am going to tackle it. But first, this trunk. I have brought in everything that was out there, because at the time I had my desk out there with my computer, my printer, my shredder, everything was out there. All my tax papers were kind of all over the place. The only ones that I kept organized were Mom's, because I never knew if it was ever going to be needed. So, whatever. I was thinking me last. So, I gathered up all the papers. I put them in a box. I've got two little baskets full of papers. The trunk, I've got all of that. I've got my computer desk in here now that I'm going to be painting next week. I'm hoping next week. I was planning on it this week, but I have a couple of other things I need to do. So, shredder out, papers, we're going to get rid of that. And that will be a big weight off my mind. That'll be a big thing. I actually feel so much better talking about it, because I really, really feel motivated to do that. And the more I put it off, the more stressful I feel, because should anything happen to me, they won't be able to find the paperwork. They won't be able to find this. They won't be able... I know I'll be dead. I won't care. I won't know. But it's not the point. I don't want my children to feel burdened. And they're going to be burdened enough with my craft stuff. They're going to be burdened enough, with the other things that I have going on all around here, what they want to keep, what they don't want to keep. But one of the other suggestions it says is that if you do have something, and I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, because I've already done a half-hour talk and I wasn't filming. And I told you all this wonderful stuff. So this is my second time around here. Anyway, so if you have something, an heirloom of something that you want to pass on, ask them now, get rid of it. That was the other suggestion here. So basically, it's the whole Swedish death cleaning is putting your house in order. And it's been bugging me for a long time. And since it's been bothering me, it's one of those things in the back of my mind, stressing me out, I've got to tackle it. I've got to put aside silly things like my crafts, or extra pots in the kitchen, or too many shoes in the closet, things I don't wear, although I've already gone through my clothes. I've already done the purge of my clothes, and everything that's in my closet, I wear. Everything that I have now, I wear. Which is such a relief. I mean, that alone is a relief. Reorganizing my bedroom, making it an oasis, getting my dressers painted. That was such an accomplishment for me. And it was such a weight, because it was sitting in the back of my mind. And donating all of that stuff to the Girls and Boys Club, or Boys and Girls Club, however they call it, was a big weight off me. And getting rid of, I've already got, like I said, I've got things in the hall that I'm going to be getting out of the house as quickly as possible. That's the other thing to do. Get things out of the house as quick as you can. The faster it's out of the house, the better you're going to feel, because it's gone. It's gone. So anyway, I wanted to talk about this because this was something, even when I was alone with my children, I wanted to make sure that anything happened to me, like when my kids were little and my parents were both alive. My dad was alive at the time. And he would come over and send the kids off to school so that I could get to work. And then I was home for when they came home from school. So, we kind of had this thing going. I wouldn't want my parents to go through and try and find my paperwork. So I always had it organized. Over the years, I've just kind of dumped it here and dumped it there. And then I got organized with this. And then I changed it around. And then it did. And then I became a hoarder of craft. And that was another issue. So anyway, guys, I think we talked about signs last week, and I think that scrolling through a couple of things on the computer while my hair was in curlers and my hair was drying, which took all day, and, and keeping Mom company and feeding the birds and watering my plants and all that stuff today, these things came up, things that I wanted to talk about. And what I started writing in here on videos that I would like to do, because I found them interesting. Whether you do or not, I don't know. But then it came to this Swedish death thing, and I thought, you know, I need to do that. I need to put my house in order. And basically that's all it is. It's putting your house in order so that the burden isn't there. Now, as I said, I used to think about this when I was younger, but as I'm getting older now, and Mom is getting older, and we are at, in our golden years, now that we're in our golden years, I think it's important to purge, to put your house in order, even if you're not going to know, because you're going to be dead. It lessens the burden for your children. And you don't want them to find things. You don't want them to be embarrassed by things you've left behind that you should have gotten rid of and maybe you didn't, Who knows what we did in our younger days that we've kept, forgotten about, hidden in a drawer or closet somewhere. So, anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about this week, is that this is my new project before I paint my desk, is I've got to get my papers ripped, shredded, organized and put together so that if I die in my bed and my children come in here or whatever happens and they need to find something, it'll be in that trunk. They'll open it up. There's my will. There's my tax papers. There's my car information, etc., etc., etc. It'll all be there for them so that they don't have to sort through, and maybe not even sort, maybe bundle it and throw it, and something important might have been in there that they should know about, whether it be a letter I wrote to them, which I've done over the years. I've written letters to my child, dated them, and written letters to my children, stating different things, talking to them, telling them I love them, and so on. I kept all of those things. So all of my journals that I have, kind of purged my mind of emotions onto paper, I don't want them to see that. I don't want them to feel guilty. I don't want them to think that I had an unhappy life, because I didn't. I had a good life. I've had, so far, a really good life. And I wouldn't trade it for the world, Sure, I have regrets, but, So this whole, putting my house in order is very important to me right now. And I think it's, like I said, because of the doves, the messages, the hints, the, losing my pets, my brother, my mom, all of these things, I need to feel comfortable that should anything happen to me, my children will not be burdened and think, oh, Mom, why did you keep this? Oh, Mom, I thought you were happy. I didn't know you were unhappy. I don't want them to see any of that. That's nonsense, That was in the past. It's gone. It's done. Time to get rid of it. Time to purge it for good. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining me this week. I just kind of wanted to, put that out there. I don't think it matters how old you are. I mean, I think it's more important, as we sort of get over 60, over 65, I think it's important to think of these things. But I think it's a lifelong thing to keep your house in order, to ensure that insurance information, papers, taxes, wills, etc., is secure. And a lot of you probably are well organized and probably have your house in order. I didn't. Used to, but I didn't. So now I have to do that before I do anything else. I really have to tackle that. So that is my project for the week. And it's going to take me a week or longer, but it's going to take me a week to sit down on the floor, open the trunk, and start pulling out the papers, get the garbage bag, get the shredder, because I'm going to be doing a lot of that. Alrighty. Cold tea, as usual. Cold tea. Thanks for joining me this week, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye for now.